whatever you want to accomplish in life, you have to put some action into it. You can't just say, I want to achieve this, but then sit on the couch all day. I want to achieve that, but then watch TV all day. Like, or you want to be the best at this, but then you don't practice it. So how do you expect to be the best at something, or how do you even expect to get good at something if you don't practice it?
Say my name, say my name. If you ain't running game, say my name, say my name. What is that?
Fuck a politician, come ride with the boss in the backseat. A lot on my mind, I don't wanna think. She come and relax me. Diving at the water, breaststroke. Tell me your thoughts, peep show. Knowing the mission, don't stop. Respectfully, told she better say my name.
What's up, family? It's another Growth Talk episode. This is episode 15. Myself, Jamie, and my co-host, James. Man, we're super excited to come back to you guys with another episode. Before we get started, though, always, if something resonates with you on this talk, please hit that like button, hit that share button, because that just spreads our impact, and it also spreads your impact as well. If it's something that we say also that resonates with you and you want to put it in the comment section, feel free to do that. We would love to connect with you. So yeah, and now let's get into it. So James recently shared a clip, shared a whole message with me from Mike Todd, which is a phenomenal pastor. God is just doing amazing things in his life. And one of the parts that he shared was a clip basically where Mike was talking, and I'm gonna let James kind of share a little more on it, but basically he was saying wait on God, but also be active. So aggressively wait, actively wait. And James, I'm gonna let you go ahead and just talk more on that. And yeah, bro, take it away.
Yeah, so what he was talking about, and this is my key point on how I kind of comprehended it, was, like she said, be aggressively active, because a lot of people wait on God to make a move for you or us, or in general, just something for him to do that happens. And what I caught from it was, yes, that's true, but at the same time, you have to move. And so what he was saying in that sermon, just in that one point alone, is you can wait on the Lord or wait on God just to be present in your life. But then at the same time, if you don't put any actions, it's kind of like you're bettering yourself, because you still have to make that improvement in yourself in order to show you that you're worthy of what you want. And so if you don't do that, how do you expect God to give it to you? Because you're not giving it to yourself. And that's like the main gist of what I was catching. And he hit that spot on. And that's why I had to share it with Jamie, because it's so true in today's society, to where whether if you're a believer or not a believer, it's just like you still hold the same concept, because whatever you want to accomplish in life, you have to put some action into it. You can't just say, I want to achieve this, but then sit on the couch all day. I want to achieve that, but then watch TV all day. Like, or you want to be the best at this, but then you don't practice it. So how do you expect to be the best at something, or how do you even expect to get good at something if you don't practice it? And so just that alone from that sermon was like, it was mind blowing to me, because you can't really achieve anything in life unless you put it in action. And so that's just my main gist of it. And we can just go back and forth, like I said, give your 2 cents on it as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with everything that you're saying. What he said in there was just, like you said, was so spot on. I feel like we have to understand that it requires our participation. God requires our participation. We can, because this is the thing, we can wait on him, and which we should be waiting on him, right? The thing is, like James said, if we're not improving, you won't even be able to see the open doors that he's trying to open for you, because of where your mindset will be. You have to you gotta put in the action so you can unlock certain barriers in your mind, because a lot of times it's just we have mind blockage. And so if I just sit and I wait and I don't focus on improving myself, or going or reading books, or attending classes, or practicing, or perfecting, or anything like that, when the time comes, I'm not going to be ready. And the thing is, God wants to bless us. At the same time, he wants us to grow and he wants us to mature. And that's what's within our control. Like, we can't control everything, you know what I'm saying? But there's some things that we can control, and we just have to understand that, because I think some people get it so mixed up. It's like, and this is another thing. I was listening to this message the other day, and Darius Daniels was like, you know, we can't control the seasons, right? But we can control ourselves. In other words, like our growth, our improvement, you know, the things that we decide to invest our time in to better ourselves, right? But what happens is, a lot of times people are allowing their season to determine their movement. And it's like the seasons are always going to change. And if our movement is dictated on every season, yeah, every season may be different, but that shouldn't take away, that shouldn't mean I stop improving. That shouldn't mean I stop walking in my purpose. That shouldn't mean that now my mind and my direction has shifted and changed because I'm in a different season. And I just, man, I strongly believe that, because I think sometimes we have to understand, like, purpose doesn't, you walking in your purpose doesn't mean that it's just going to be a, you know, perfect route. Like, nah, it's gonna rain sometime, wind gonna blow, leaves gonna fall, birds gonna come get the seeds, all different types of, in other words, all different types of seasons that you're gonna face. But you still have to still stand on and still operate and do what God called you to do in the midst of a different season. So that's
Yeah,
my
you
two
said a
cents.
key word too. You said a key word in that too. It's like you got to shift. And so if you don't shift, you can't really improve. So that's another thing where you can kind of add on to that, is like, yeah, you might be a different season, but you got to shift in that season.
Yeah.
So you can't just stay stagnant because, okay, in this season, this ain't working. So, okay, shift in. You can't say constantly week by week by week, you'll say, this is just not working. No, just after that first week, if it ain't working, shift it.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't just seek because you're waiting for something to happen because it's not working. Okay, fix it, shift it, figure out what works in that season, and then when it's that other season comes back, try it again. You
Yeah.
can't just stay stagnant in one position. So I was going to say also, back to what I said earlier, you have to put in the action in order to get somewhere, and that goes with every season. Like she's saying, is every season there's always something different that happens, and you have to shift in that season in order to make something else happen that aids to your future or your goal. And me being who I am today didn't happen overnight. Jamie being who she is today didn't happen overnight. And so from the Bible itself, you know, God works 6 days, he rests the seventh. So what makes you think you can rest 6 and then work 1? So if he worked that much and rested for 1, what makes you think you can rest for 6 and work for 1? So you got to just keep it like in that main sense of this, the whole entire thing. You have to be self-conscious of what you're doing, because if he can put in all that work, if God can put in all this work, what makes you think you can sit around and do nothing?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is my thing too. It's like, I feel like our purpose comes with responsibility. So if all it takes is the season to change for me to stop doing, because a lot of times what I think too, bro, I think people focus so much on themselves and what they got going on. And I fully understand it. I understand it because it'd be tough. It's not the process not easy, and I understand it. But it's like we focus too much on ourselves sometimes and like what we got going on, as if the next person, sometimes the next person, they got stuff way worse than what you may have going on, and they pushing through. I think sometimes we looking for something to just be lazy, to just not have responsibility. The moment you decide to take on your purpose and help other people, because your purpose is going to tie into people, is the moment you make the decision, I have responsibility. You take on responsibility. And I think
I like, no, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
no, you good, bro.
I hope you remember what you're saying, but I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have to say this. I like where you was going with that, because I think that's the difference between a lot of people. Me personally, I get mad at myself because I want to help people, and I feel like I'm mad at myself because I can't at certain times, and so I feel like I'm failing other people. And what you're saying is like people think about themselves too much. They just think they're failing themselves. Like, no, it's a lot bigger than you. When you start thinking about you in general and think about others, that's where the difference is, because you're getting mad because, okay, you can get this completed because, or you can get this completed for you. No, I'm thinking of something, I can't get this completed at a certain time. And so I get mad because I couldn't get it completed for them.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a difference between that. So you're the same way. It's like you want to complete something because you're thinking about other people. How can it affect other people?
Yeah.
And that's why I think that's a big difference between a lot of people and what you're saying. So not sorry to cut you off, but go ahead with you.
You good, bro? Because that's what I'm saying. It's like, and we just have to. Everybody got to understand. Your purpose is going to come with you affecting or impacting other people in a positive way, in some type of way, and you can't just pick and choose when life is bad. That gives me the right to forget the people that I committed to, that I said I was going to do X, Y, and Z with, like, and then look at them like they crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
like I'm basing stuff off what you said.
Yeah.
Not what I said.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know what I'm gonna do. I know
Yeah.
you do what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but one of my biggest things is standards is just being reliable, because I understand how important that is. Every single day, God is built as leaders. God is building our credibility. And it takes a second. He wants us to be credible to other people, because that builds relationship. So then when a person calls on you, they know they can count on you and they can rely on you. But the moment you sit there and start falling short on that, you losing it with people. And I'm just so big on it, because it's like people look at you crazy for holding them accountable for what they said. As if you didn't understand that this was going to come with some responsibility. And as if it was only, and then it's the crazy thing. I'm sorry, bro.
No, you're good. You good.
It's the crazy thing. People really will look at you like you crazy and think they're the only people going through shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the crazy thing. Don't stop to ask you how you doing.
Yeah.
How's life for you? Because they're expecting, because you come
you'd be
out
perfect.
Like
like nothing's expecting you. Yeah, exactly.
Expecting, you strong, you good, you ain't going through shit. You ain't going through what I'm
and
going through.
That's one thing I was talking about her today. I was like, I'm not the one to judge about anybody's situation.
Right.
But then we talk about this all the time a while back. Not to judge about anybody's situation or anything that everybody's going through, whatever. I might be going through something. You might be going through something that I don't know of, or you just want to keep it to yourself. I might want to keep it to myself, or anybody wants to keep it to themselves. Perfectly fine. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to. Well, when you see somebody doing something totally different that you know that could not help them, instead of being around a circle that can help them, it makes no sense to me.
It don't.
Because when you're trying, you basically are trying to fight. I forgot what the saying is. You're trying to block it out in a way. Mm-hmm. You're trying to block out the pain, but that pain ain't gonna go nowhere. And so if you're trying to block it out constantly, you're not really doing anything but hurting yourself, because all you're doing is saying, okay, this age, it's just like a relationship. You're going to the next dude, you're going to the next woman, because you're trying to fill that void. Mm-hmm. But you can't fill the void. God is void. He can fill that for you. So why don't you go to him? And some people, that goes to this topic. It's like, okay, you're going to him, but he's still going to require you to do some action. You can't just say, I want to feel better, go to him. He's like, okay, you got the opportunity to feel better, but what are you going to do about it? And so if you don't do nothing about that opportunity that he gives you, you're still in the same spot. He gives you the opportunity to do something. He doesn't just automatically say, snap his fingers, okay, your pain's gone. Yeah. No, I can't just wake up tomorrow and say my pain's gone. No, I can't do that. It has to be the opportunity he gives me in order to work on it.
Yeah, that's real. And somebody recently said that, I listened to a message, they was talking about that, about when it ties to, dang, I wish I had my journal with me. Oh, actually I do. I'm about to. It says, don't live a pain-driven life. You just said that. It says, you live a life not pursuing your passions, but trying to avoid pain. Like, so people like what you just said. That I was like, dang, that's crazy, because that's what a lot of people do is like, okay, you're trying to avoid this rejection, or you're trying to avoid this letdown. That's life. That's the process. It's no way that you can avoid it. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just feel like we have to understand that, like you said, we have to put in that action. You got to be willing to change your situation and know that there's going to be some things that's required of you to change that. You get what I'm saying? God don't want lazy people. Jesus wasn't lazy. Like,
you gotta
imagine.
just be better. I mean, I think it's just you gotta be better as a person, and like, and that's why you get struggles in life. You just gotta be better as a person. Like, it's gonna be easy. No, it's not gonna ever be easy. But at the same time, if you don't constantly try to learn from the mistakes or try to learn from the situation, then you're never going to be better anyways. And so if you don't learn how to be better, then that situation that comes again, you aren't learning from anything from it. You might see a situation that's repeated multiple times because your butt just ain't getting it. And if you don't get it, he's going to give it to you again.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it that time, you're going to get it again. And so, and we've all had that. I still have that. You might still have that. It's just every single thing in life happens for a reason. I don't believe it doesn't happen for a reason. It happens for a reason. You might not like it, but at the same time, it happens for a reason. And so us as humans have to, adapt to it, regardless of how you feel about it. I'm saying this not to everybody watching this, but I'm saying it to myself as well. No matter how you don't like it or like it, you have to adapt to it. That's why I said earlier, like the key word you said is shift, because if you don't shift in that situation, you aren't learning. And so if you don't learn anything from it, you aren't getting better.
Yeah. And as a leader, that's something that gotta be in your arsenal of just knowing learning how to shift and adapt and adjust, because that's gonna be constant. That's constant. It can't be, you know what I mean? Like, oh, when this, like what we're saying, this situation is different. Now I'm just like, oh, because it's not fitting for what I'm expecting it to look like. Nah, that and like you said, everything happens for a reason. God is using everything to grow you, and he's sending people to, like, we're his hands and feet. So he's sending people. If he's wanting to bless you, he's going to send a person, right? He's going to send a person to bless you in some type of way, whatever that is. And you know what I'm saying? So just understand that, like, again, just when it comes to our purpose, it requires responsibility. Know that you can wait on God and actively move. God is not saying wait on him and humana. No, like, you just sitting there and thinking God's saying, oh, watch Netflix and just relax all day.
Yeah.
He's not saying that.
Yeah.
Or go be, whatever. He's not saying that. You still have responsibility. You still on a mission. The mission is still at hand. And this is what I learned and what I found, especially today. we had a meeting earlier, and God had already dumped this seed, downloaded this in me, but he kind of set it in even more. God will find somebody else to do what you do, and may do other stuff. So don't take the fact that he's giving you purpose for granted, because at the end of the day, he has a purpose that he's fulfilling. So if you're not wanting to step up to the plate to fulfill whatever the purpose is, and I'm listeners, whoever you are, understand if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, leadership in any type of way, whether it's with your job, with household, whatever, he will find, if you don't want to do it. Now, I'm not saying, household, but still, that's leadership. But like, he will find other people that have the same giftedness talents, skills, and bring people to help people, because he still has a purpose to fulfill himself. Because I think some of us think, oh, you can't do it, nobody can do it without me.
No.
No,
Yeah, no,
no.
just move over.
God is going to replace.
Yeah.
And yeah, it may be, it may be something else is for you, and that's great. But don't have that mindset of like, in again, wait on God. Because like Mike Ty said, wait
Yeah.
on the Lord.
Wait.
And you might
You
be,
really just waiting. You gotta put some work.
you adopting that might not even be the season that you in.
Yeah.
And even if it is, and this is what we're saying, this is what me and James saying, even if it is the season that you're in, understand God is saying wait, but actively move. And movement doesn't mean that you're trying to figure things out as far as what to do within whatever it is. God will show you all that. But movement is what James is saying: improve yourself, better yourself, still be committed, still deeds and actions, or deeds and words are aligning, still have good character, still be reliable, still exercise what you can exercise that's within your control. That don't mean throw all that out the door.
Yeah, you still are doing something. You aren't just sitting doing nothing.
Yeah.
It could be the season of you serving somebody else. It could be the season that has nothing to do with you even need to be done. But he's not saying, like how we've been saying, it's like wait on the Lord. You don't necessarily, you're waiting, but you're not sitting still. You're doing something that season is required of you. Like I said, it could be something that's not even totally for you or benefiting you. You just have to continue to move.
Yeah. And one thing you had said, sitting still, this came to my mind when you had said that sitting still does not always mean physical. And I think that's why some of us believers get confused. Sitting still can be physical. It's time when we need to sit still. But God is not saying a year. You done,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But he may be saying, okay, you can't figure this out. Sit still. Let me handle that. And a lot of times sitting still is more about internal rest. You're inside, you're at peace internally. You're being still internally. You're giving it all to him internally. So it's allowing you to wait on him and be still while you're still operating in that growth, still operating in who you are, still operating with that character. But sitting still does not always mean physical. So
yeah. Because at that time you're still technically, if you want to get in the terms of planting rather than harvesting. So you don't harvest every season. You plant majority of the time, and then you harvest at a certain time, according to him. Because if you're not ready for your harvest, then you continue to plant until you show you're ready for your harvest. But you have to think about all the years that you've planted. So if you imagine all the years that you planted, and then you're finally ready for that harvest, that wait will be ready. If you want to say wait, that's you've been waiting all your life. But if you ain't planted nothing, like it's exactly how, I mean, I don't know if any gardeners are looking at this. I don't garden, but I'm just saying in general, this is kind of like a good scenario or a good analogy. You plant a seed. That seed don't grow in the next hour. It don't.
yeah.
You plant another seed. It don't grow in the next hour. It don't. It just, you have to continue. How many bushes do you want? Do you want one bush or do you want a whole garden? So if you're planting one seed, don't expect a whole garden. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you want to harvest a whole village, then why are you so caught up in just not planting nothing? You're waiting. Okay, go plant. You're waiting. Go plant. You're active. That the planting is the activeness. If you're waiting still, go plant. So as you're planting and waiting, quote unquote, when you're ready for that harvest to come, now you have a whole village.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause man,
I think people get caught up in, the right now.
yeah.
And that's just society. And so once you get caught up in that, then there is no more planning. So then you don't benefit anymore. So then you get mad because you're not benefiting anymore. but you can't get mad at nobody but yourself.
Yeah. Because a lot of times God done already told us what to do. He's done already do what you've been doing. Do what I've already told you. You may be waiting on the next step or direction, but you haven't even fully committed this step.
Yeah.
What he gonna give you the next step for? So yeah.
Yeah, but that's my take on it. But hope you guys enjoy it. You got any closing remarks?
Nah, bro. That's it, man. Other than just if anything resonated with you, hit that like, hit that share. We would love to see what parts of it resonated with you. If you could just leave that in the comment section, and then that'll also help us. Other people that come on and watch, they can see that as well, and may help them. So that's all I got. If nothing else, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening in. This is Growth Talk Podcast. Me, Jamie, James, and they will be back soon. So yeah, y'all, let's get it. Episode 15.
15, yes. Y'all have a blessed day.